In the 50-30-20 budgeting method, what falls under the 50%? Like, really? This bucket of expenses should be relatively stable and thus rather predictable. The cool thing about this bucket is that it really allows you to evaluate how you're doing in life. It allows you to check whether you're living above your means, below your means, or just at about the right level. And what you'll find is a snapshot of the past month. It doesn't mean anything about your future. If you don't like the way that things look right now, you can always make tweaks to adjust it. And this is the powerful part. Once you understand how your past expenses look like, you can start planning for your future expenses. Sometimes these things are much better to see in practice. So let me show you how that looks like in an Excel sheet. We have our Excel file here. We've got two columns. We've got pay to, we've got amount. Let's start with housing. And the first item in housing is the mortgage or the rent, depending on what you have. And let's say that's around 700 euros per month. Now, does this actually cover everything around housing? Most likely not. A few other typical monthly expenses around housing are, of course, utilities. So we're talking about electricity, heating, water, internet, the phone. Let's say around 170 euros for all of that. Let's move over to house insurance. And if you own a place, then very likely you don't only have a house insurance, you also have a life insurance. Let's keep it simple. And let's say that we have 50 euros for these insurances together per month. So here we go. Maybe let's expand this column a little so we can keep seeing what we're typing here. Okay, now if you live in a shared building, you probably pay an additional fee for facility management every quarter, or maybe every half year, or maybe even every year. Now, this is a great example of a potential hidden cost, as you don't think about it typically every month. But the money will have to come from somewhere when the sum is due. So how do you handle that? We can split that amount by the number of months you wait before paying. So in this case, let's say that we pay 600 euros every 3 months. So on a monthly basis, the reserve budget is 200 euros. So the management, and then 200 euros. Here we go. Depending on where you live, you may also have to pay taxes or another type of fee for the grounds that you live on. Again, check how often you pay this and divide by the number of months the expense covers. So in our example, this comes in at about 1,200 euros per year, which means that we reserve an extra 100 euros for this every single month. So let's call it land taxes and 100 euros. Here we go. Next, groceries. Don't overcomplicate here. When you buy a chocolate in the supermarket next to your lettuce and your yogurt, you could technically split the bill between needs and fun. Because yes, you don't need chocolate to survive, but for me, that's one step too far. So just take your bills for the supermarket and bring them all into your needs bucket. On that note, coffees you go get into coffee shops are not part of your needs. So we can kick those expenses out of the needs budget and usually you'll have a pretty nice split anyway in your expenses between what you buy in the supermarket and what you buy on top, like for example that coffee. Groceries also include the food for whatever pets you have, because these are also part of your needs. Let's say that you're a responsible person, so they're part of your needs. And again, let's say that all of this is totaling around 300 euros per month. On with the list. Transportation. Do you take the car? Do you take the metro, the train? With public transportation, the cost is easy to calculate. You just pay a flat fee and that's it. Now, for cars, there is car insurance, fuel, road tolls, the yearly checkup, tire changes, etc. And for the sake of this exercise, I assume that we only use, let's say, the metro. So for the metro, I'm adding 50 euros. So let's do that. Then maybe a tricky topic. Taxi rides and Uber drives. Do these go also in the needs section? For me, it really depends. If that's really the only option in your neighborhood to go around, then that could be a need. But if you could do without, then that belongs to the fun category. In this example, we're not going to be putting the Uber and taxi fees over here. We're just gonna keep that for the fun part. Next one. In many countries in Europe, we already make contributions to the welfare system, meaning that medical insurance is often not strictly needed. But here we'll still add one line for the medical insurance, a private one. And so that comes in at 80 euros. And with this, I should have a solid overview of my expenses per month. So next step is to see how this sum compares to the monthly income. So in order to be able to make that next step, let's first total this, see what we get. So in total, we have 1,650. Let's say we have a salary of 2,500 euros net. So euros. So that means that we have then this one divided by 2,500 euros, and we turn that into a percentage over here. If we compare this total to what we would actually like to have, which is 50% of the 2,500 euros, you can see that we are significantly above the 50%. 50% would be 1,250, so that's 400 euros above, and as a percentage, 16% above the ideal budget for the needs. We now have this insight, and if we want, we can choose to take action. Okay, suppose this is you. Your needs are a bit or quite a bit above the 50% threshold proposed by the budgeting rule, and you would like to follow this 50-30-20 rule for yourself. What do? There are a few options. One of them is to have a look at your expenses again and check whether you're really getting the best value for your money. Maybe it could be interesting to see if there's any way to raise your monthly income. I'm talking about a negotiation with your boss to see if your current salary could get optimized one way or another, or maybe there is a side hustle that you could pick up. Then next month, just Do the same exercise. List up your expenses, see which difference your decisions made in the 50% bucket. Oh, this is it for the 50% or the needs bucket. There are more videos like this in the How to Make a Budget Work for You series. So check the next one in your playlist. If you like this type of in-depth practical content, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more. That said, thank you so much for making it this far, and catch you in the next one. Cheers!